Hello, I'm Gil from poeticmind.co.uk. These are my notes, my summary for how to create your effective webinar, online seminar. You will see that many of the golden rules here are good for just launching a product or for general marketing campaigns. You can use that for those things. But today I will discuss about webinar, how to make an effective webinar. Now, the first thing you need to do is to invent new words for your topic or for your product. For example, Google doesn't talk about pixel anymore, they talk about retina display. Then you need to talk about the good and the bad. For example, people can buy your product to lose weight, for example, but then they can still eat chocolate. So there are many products out there that will help people to lose weight. What's the difference with your product? Design it so that people can still have the bad thing, that they can still eat chocolates. Giving people the good and the bad with your product. Next, tell people exactly what they will learn and be very specific of how long it will take them. Make people curious. So talk about in your email campaign, in your registration email campaign, about the one thing that I have learned and it changed my life. I couldn't think, why didn't I realize it before? And this is the one thing I will share with you in my webinar. Talk about personalities. Are you type person A or are you type person B? We have found out that person B sells twice as much as person A. We will tell you about personality B in our webinar. Join us. Tell people this is a webinar that will change your life, so that it is worthwhile for people to watch your webinar. You can create a countdown in your registration page. Now, when you describe your host, your presenter, make their biography relevant to the topic. Now, testimonials are good, but they convey a sale. They tell your client basically, I want you to buy something, and here's another client, and he will tell you how good my product is. That is fine, but it doesn't talk about the host, about you, about your presenter of the webinar. Why should I watch the webinar? Why should I see you in your webinar? So you want a specific biography. You want to talk about yourself and what is your relevant and your experience to the product and to the webinar. You can create endorsement video for the registration page. So you can create a video that talks about the registration and about your product. So when people reach your registration page, they already know something about it. Offer your client result in advance. Offer them something for free just for registering. A free video or a free PDF just for registering and putting the detail on your registration page, so that they can start training in advance and that they can have result even before they are watching your webinar. Once people register, you will create a thank you page. In that thank you page, you have to be clear and tell your user what to do next. Tell them step to take. 1. Add us to your calendar. 2. Share us on the social network. And 3. Whitelist our email. Now, give people a bonus at the beginning of the webinar. So tell people at the first 30 seconds into the webinar, I will give you some free bonus. I will ask a question, and the first 10 people that answer the question in my chat box, they will get a free bonus. That will be only at the 30 seconds into the webinar. So make sure that you are coming up early to the webinar. Make sure you're there on time, because a minute after and you are going to lose your chance. Limit your registration for 50, 500 people. Limit the webinar for a certain amount of people so that you can engage with them. It is great to have 5,000 people attending your webinar. That is great, but can you engage with them through the chat? You probably can't. So limit the amount of people, make it special, and tell people also, if you cannot attend, let us know so that we can give your spot to someone on our waiting list. 2-3 days before the webinar, you can send a reminder email. In those reminder email, and I would say 2 emails, 3 emails only, no more than that. In those emails, you can offer some free PDF so people can start engaging with your content, and also you're building up a momentum. A day before the webinar, you can send another email and can let people know that you're going to give a gift at the end of the webinar. So it's worthwhile to wait in all the way through the end of your webinar. Tell people that this webinar is not for everyone. It is for a certain people who are looking for XYZ results. I mean, my field is healing, art, inspiration, creativity. So I will tell people, if you're looking for certain result in your life, to progress in your life, to heal, this is the webinar for you. Make your webinar unique so that you can pinpoint your client market. Offer a certain tip which will be only on the live webinar, not during the replay of the webinar. So tell your clients, I'm going to give you a secret, specific tip, and this is going to be on the webinar only. I'm going to edit it out. It's not going to be on the replay. It is so valuable, it is so good. It took me a year to reach that tip which I'm going to share with you. I want to share it only with people who committing to come up to the live webinar. You can also tell people this top tip which I'm going to share only on the live webinar will be halfway through the webinar, around the middle of the webinar, so that you make sure people are waiting. Now, the structure of your webinar should have 3 parts: introduction, content, which is the main body, and transition, closing into your product. So, introduction, content, and transition. The introduction, there is where you put the case for your product, for your service, for your webinar. Why should people watch this webinar? You know, my field, as I said, is healing, it is arts, it's about inspiration. Why should people come to my webinar, waste their time to talk about healing? So you have to put the case for healing. I will talk about people being stuck in their life. I will talk about people looking for happiness in the outside world, you know, better job, better career, better relationship, better car, which is all great, but you can never find happiness there if you don't find happiness within you. So my case is that it's okay to progress in life. We all want a better car, there's no problem in that. We all want better pay, better salary. But you will not be happy with a better salary, because that is something from the outside, unless you're happy from within you, unless you find yourself. This is my field, this is my product, this is what I'm selling. Finding yourself. So I will put this case and I will say, through healing, through meditation, through my product, which is developing people awareness to themselves, through there you can find your inner happiness. And when you find your inner happiness, then you will be more happier and more successful outside. Because what you feel from inside, you attract from the outside. This is the case that I will put forward in the introduction. Very quick. Why should people watch it? Because through my healing tools, you can find happiness inside. When you find happiness inside, then you'll find happiness outside. The same thing with your webinar. Your product may be different. You have to explain your product, why it is worthwhile. That is your introduction. Then the content, the body of your webinar, where you explain, exemplify, and show your product. In my case, I don't have a product. I have a service, healing services, counseling services. I will actually give people some advice, and I will do guided meditation or empowerment, as we call it, anything to do with my service. Then the third part, after you finish your content, is the transition into the closing, and in the closing you want to sell a product. I say transition, you don't want to jump from the body of your content straight to say, okay, now I have given you free guided meditation, free consultation, now I want you to buy my product. You don't want to do that, you don't want to jump, you want a smooth transition. So in my case, as I finish presenting my meditation with people, working with people together on the webinar, gradually I will talk about the result and then about the product that they can then buy on my website. Gradually transition into closing and into selling the product. Remember to engage your users' eyes, ears and fingers during your webinar. Eyes, obviously they're watching you. Ears, obviously they're hearing your presentation, they're hearing what you say. But most important, fingers. Let them discuss with you via the chat box. Let them work on the chat box. And the beautiful way to do it is to simply stop every so often and ask a question. And give people 10 seconds to reply. And it could be very simple as, did you understand what I have just tried to convey? What do you think about it? Can we move forward? Take 10 seconds to reply. And just read what people write on the chat. Eyes, ear, and also fingers. When you start your webinar, introduce yourself and talk about yourself. Create a story about yourself. Don't lay down a bullet point of all your achievements and experiences. It's very difficult for people to digest, but you can talk about who you are. You know, my CV is very long. My resume is very long. I'm a doctor in art design and media. I teach for the Open University. I'm also a Reiki master and a teacher. I do an art healing consultation with clients and workshops and so forth. But people don't want to know about it. What they want to know is that you're a human being. So instead of giving my CV, my resume, I will talk about who I am. the challenges I had in life. I mean, it took me years to get this eureka moment. So we talk about the challenges, how I overcome those challenges. The eureka moment when I realized that there is a tool there. In my case, it's about education and self-knowledge and healing. When I realized this, how did I learn about it? And this is the tools I will share with you during the webinar. So you don't want to talk about you working in this office and having great salary, but talk about the experience of working in that office, for example. So say, when Barack Obama invited me for a personal consultation, then he told me something interesting which I wanted to share with you. Speak about it in that way. Don't put a CV, I worked for the president from this year to that year. Don't do that. Talk about the story behind it. In your webinar, remember to cut your methods, cut your service into small chunks. Give people small chunks that they can use and take now. Not your complete course, not the complete product. You will have other courses where you can deliver your complete product and your complete services. In a 1 or 1.5 hour webinar, you don't have time for it. You have to cut it to small giveaway, small takes away for people that they can use and apply it now. Taking away from your webinar and apply it now. I have a method which is called the Streaming Knowledge Method. I can explain this method in 10 minutes. It takes me only 10 minutes to explain this method, and you can use it straight away. I call it Streaming Knowledge Method because it helps you to crystallize your ideas, to be clear about what you want to do next. Very simple. A small giveaway to people to use it and immediately apply it. Obviously, you can talk about the before and the after. So how people feel before they're using your product, your service, and after. Now, start your webinar with the end in mind. Be transparent about it. Tell people, I have an offer at the end of this webinar, but do it in an interesting way that will be worthwhile. Tell your user, listen, I'm going to give you 50 minutes now of free service. In my case, I'll probably do guided meditation or channel some information, some tools useful to people. And I will tell them, 50 minutes, I'm going to give you some free tools here. Now, if you think I've done my work well, if you think I'm worthwhile it, what I've given you today, then at the end of this presentation webinar, I'll ask 10 minutes from your time where I want to give you a specific offer. And ask people, is that okay with you? And let them answer in the chat. So when you start your webinar, tell them, if I do my work well, 50 minutes giving you some free advice, would you please stay for another 10 minutes, only 10 minutes of your time I want, at the end, only at the end. When you give bonus, a free gift, make this free gift so valuable, so special, that people will want to buy your product just for the bonus that you give when people buy the product. People can buy your product elsewhere, but what's the reason to watch your webinar? Well, you tell them, I'm going to give you such a special bonus only during the webinar when you buy my product. Now, if something is special, then it must expire. If your webinar is special, if the product you're selling is special, tell people it will expire. Tell people it will be available only to the first 200 people that buy it. During your webinar, don't focus on the module. Don't focus on the work that needs to be done. Focus on the result and the feeling that people get in the result. Use such words as, yes, you can do it. Wouldn't it be great to feel enlightened? Wouldn't it be great to have this knowledge that comes from within you? Answer to any questions. Because Google doesn't give you all the answers. Sometimes you need to find it within them. Wouldn't it be great to find the answer within? In my case, this is my product. Your product is different. Now, after you did your webinar, obviously you can have it as a replay. But you can add another feature. You can add another live webinar just before the replay. So you can add another reason for people to watch the replay. When you finish your webinar, go to the social networking and say, I just did this wonderful webinar. But be truthful to yourself. Talk about the thing that you've learned. I did this wonderful webinar with people, and guess what? I've learned something new from the chat, from the question that people raised. So I was giving a lot to people, but it was wonderful also to receive something in return. Put it on social networks. Keep your webinar current, up to date. Don't talk in your webinar about the TV program that you watched last night. Because on a replay, in 6 months' time or in 1 year time, this TV program will probably not be broadcast anymore. You want your webinar to be current, to be relevant, not just now, but also in 1 year or 2 years' time, or even 5 years' time when people watch it. So talk about the ingredients of human being, the reason to using products, the reason to be happy in my case, the reason to go about and make personal development, that's in my case. Be current, relevant, so your webinar replays are relevant to your future clients. Once you finish your webinar, as you know, you can edit it, you can format it into video and put it on YouTube. Versatile it. Make PDF, make mind map, make it so that it's accessible to people in many different ways. So, I wish you much success with your webinar and selling your products. If you did enjoy my presentation today, if it did add some value to you, feel free to share it, feel free to visit my website. Good luck!